Development. It is a pleasure to be part of this. I'll do my best to be a good moderator. Yeah. And hopefully you understand my English. Mr. Fred Ramata and Mr. Anyeka. Okay, so let's go to the questions that we have here. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, fellow participants, it's an honor and a pleasure to speak on this topic, which is Agile Principle in Film Production, a paradigm shift. At this distinguished panel discussion. In this industry that is known for tradition and intricate process, the infusion of Agile principles represents a transformative shift, promising greater efficiency, adaptability, and creative freedom. Okay. Before we delve in the specifics of Agile and film production, let us briefly define the core principles of Agile methodologies. We know that Agile is set on values and principles that prioritize customer satisfaction, flexibility, and collaboration through iterative and incremental work. It emphasizes on adaptability, frequent feedback, and continuous improvement. Yeah, those are the key for Agile, right? So when we look at the film industry, right? Traditionally, the film industry has followed a linear and highly structured production process. This process typically involves script development, pre-production, shooting, post-production, and then distribution. While this approach has been effective, it's often rigid and less responsive to the ever-evolving dynamics of the industry and the audience preference. Okay? Take that in consideration. I have my first question to you both, Mr. Fred Ramata and Mr. Anyeka. Okay, how do you define Agile in the context of film production, and why is it considered to be a paradigm shift? I don't know which one of the gentlemen wants to go first. Hello, Mr. Fred, I cannot hear you. I still cannot hear you. Is it just me? Can anybody?
No, it looks like he's having audio problems.
Okay.
You may have to go in and come back in. You may have to go in and come back in, Fred.
And meanwhile, maybe Anyeka can take over. Okay. And be the first on the spotlight.
Good evening, and thank you for...
Okay, we can hear you.
First of all, I want to thank Women in Africa for this section, for giving us the opportunity to talk on this great topic of Agile, the paradigm shift, Agile principle in film production. As we all know, the film industry, they has a linear approach. So what does it mean for one to move from a linear into an iterative way of doing things? So your question is, how do you define Agile in the context of film production? And why is it considered as a paradigm shift? My response to that, I would say, Agile in film production entails adopting a set of principles. As we know, Agile has values. We have the 4 values and the 12 principles. One of the values of Agile is responding to change over following a plan, right? So in the adoption of Agile in the film production, so when we adopt a set of principles and practices that prioritize adaptability, The key word here is adaptability. You collaborate. How do you collaborate? You collaborate with the producer, with the viewers in this, and you are using the iterative processes, the incremental, doing it in a sprint, right? It represents a paradigm shift because it challenges the conventional linear. The word here, we have to challenge. And whenever you want to challenge an existing processes, it's always it's always a challenge. It's always something that you have a kickback from the existing processes because you want to introduce something new. So we have to challenge the conventional linear and rigid approach to filmmaking. In the traditional model, each phase of production, it follows a script, just as I said before, is a model that you have to follow a plan, sequence. You follow the sequences of production, every plan you follow, making it difficult to respond to challenges, circumstances, and audiences' feedback. So because you need audience feedback, when you using the Agile method, you go the Agile way, you need to carry your audience along. You get the feedback from your audience. For instance, you're doing a scene one. If you're producing a scene one, you get the audience feedback. What are your expectations? And you are allowed for flexibility. Then frequent adjustment. Then in all of these, when you cooperate all of these, you bring in the Agile way of working and more customer-centric. Remember, the emphasis is you have to please your customer. We are customer-centric. We align filmmaking with a dynamic nature of the industry and audience preference. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does answer. It does answer. So the feedback from the customer, yes, the feedback is an Agile value. And then adapt, again, Agile, and have the mindset of customer centered. Definitely, you answered the question. Thank you. Mr. Fred, maybe you I guess. Yeah, still the same. We can't hear you. No.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes,
great,
now.
great.
Good.
Great. All right, I was trying to get myself heard, and I lost part of what Anita was saying.
Yeah.
However, I wanted to support his explanation about the linear process in filmmaking, which will make it such a paradigm shift. To a larger extent, the film making process is rigid. It starts from pre-production, which entails the script, location hunting, budgeting, description, to production, which is the principal photography, from production to post-production, which is in editing and putting it together and sweetening it until you have a finished product, and then it goes to advertising and marketing. So it will be a paradigm shift, trying to marry the concepts of adaptability, for instance, with scripting, or with scripting, particularly, for instance, will give it a new twist, because from what will be a viable, what do you call it, a viable position, from an iterative viable position, you can develop the script in the Agile way of increments, reaching out to everybody and collaborating, and you can take this along the lines till post-production. And so I do not know where we are at. I would like you to just continue. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a second question. Here it goes. What are the key benefits of adopting agile methodologies in the move-making process? On your point of view, what do you think are the key benefits? Maybe Fred can go on since you were the last talking.
Okay. For me, one major benefit will be the agile guarantee of completion. The guarantee of completion in the agile framework is a major benefit for production. It also can enhance creativity, because like I was trying to explain earlier, Agile encourages collaboration, and creative teams can use feedback from both audiences and the team itself to actually reach the precise kind of response or whatever that they set out to achieve. That is one of the major benefits that we can have using the Agile project. Another will be quality. That is undeniable. Because of the process of getting it done, Agile will encourage that the best is achieved in terms of production value, production quality, and the technical quality, as well as the intrinsic artistic quality, will all be met, especially because of collaboration, increments, and adaptability. So that's how I'll put that. There are more. There are reduced risks, because we can, because of adaptability again, and because of things like sprints that ensure that the problems that we encountered yesterday, we know them early, we can avoid a lot of risk and reduce a lot of time and ensure completion. For me, that is major.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyeka, on your point of view, what are the key benefits?
Always limit yourself, because and you don't want to make mistakes. So you find that
for me,
there's somebody talking. I need to mute the person.
Very good attributes.
Tolulokwe, can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. So when Agile encourages creative team, it talks about the creative team. It allows your team to explore different ideas. It will allow you to explore different ideas. An opportunity, which leads to the value of Agile, responding to change over following a plan. So he made mention of enhanced creativity. So you add it to the value, which, because our topic is based on Agile, we go by the enhanced creativity. I should put that is absolutely. So I'm only portraying more on the enhanced creativity. So if you actually bring it, you explore your creativity in the industry. Faster time to market. You explore Agile, use Agile in the processes, in the filmmaking. There will actually be situation because your man was machine at the end of this sprint that you release and you make sure. So I will at this point I will say that's all. That's for now. That's all I will say for now.
Thank you, Anyekan. Thank you. So we can fairly say that Agile really brings several significant benefits to move production from what we had. Enhanced creativity, the assurance of completion of done, as Mr. Fred said, the quality, the reduction of the risks. So yes, it's really an added value to the movement film industry for sure. So can I ask an example? Okay, a case study, a situation where you face that the Agile methodologies actually made a significant impact on the film production.
Nyeka, I thought we were going to talk.
Okay.
I did not research this, but I did have to research this, to find out. And thanks to Nyeka, I understand that a film that I found very engaging and that had received a lot of critical acclaim had used the Agile framework in production. And it's a film called Mad Max. Now, and it's actually, yeah, Mad Max. It's actually the second Mad Max.
Notes.
Yeah. And so Mad Max, I don't know if you have watched it. It's a different kind of film. I couldn't put it together when I was watching it. But as soon as I heard that Mad Max, they used the Agile methodology because these people were filming in the desert. And this desert had very, very unstable conditions. So I could relate to the fact that they used adaptability. They got feedback from those on camp and even determined what to shoot on a particular day, depending on the various variables that day gave. And you could see that effect that in the film. It's realistic. Sometimes there was one scene I saw, if I can remember well, a gathering storm, and I was wondering, is this special effect or so? But so Mad Max is a good example of a film that I understand used the Agile framework in expressing itself. I'm sure Aneka also did some research that you can avail us with.
Okay.
Abi Anekos.
Thank you, Uncle Fred. To add to Mad Max, there's another movie, popularly known movie, Deadpool. If you're familiar with Deadpool, you observe that it was actually the Agile methodology that was actually used.
Okay,
Deadpool. So it allows them to capture unique moments and create a virtual, stunning, and critically acclaimed film. So the iterative approach, it leads to efficient resource allocation, because the aim of it all is for you to, how do you save costs? You need to save more costs. Then at the same time, you need to give your viewers a quality movie at the end of it all. So it actually allows them for resource allocation and ultimately reducing production costs and minimizing risk associated with the challenging shooting environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Anyeka. So certainly the benefits were there, right? When you talking about reducing the production costs, that's already, a big one. But I'm sure that it wasn't easy to introduce or to make that transitioning. So my next question is, what are the challenges or obstacles that filmmakers may face when transitioning from the traditional filmmaking to filmmaking through agile, applying agile methodologies?
Wow, that's a very interesting one. Filmmaking is a selfish art, as collaborative as it is, because filmmaking is the gathering of various talents together to produce a quality that people like. So there are some rigid positions in filmmaking. For instance, the director is king. The director is all and all. And so there will be a mental, cultural, vocational, operational rejection, because Agile is collaborative in a slightly different way. Agile will take a script, for instance, and from the various viable position, build the script in a collaborative way. So we want to hear what should go next in this, and with increments. But in filmmaking, the script is done by a scriptwriter who submits the script, and a group of people look at it and they determine whether it is what they want to shoot next, and then they plan it, and pre-production takes a certain time, production is projected to take a certain time, and all of that. And because of these rigid ideas, rigid methodologies of pursuing this, which have been effective over the years, there might be that resistance culturally from filmmakers. That is the major thing that I would think, because every filmmaker, especially filmmakers who want to see their return, would like to hear that there's a completion guarantee. And though in Nollywood, where I come from, completion guarantees are not have not yet been are not in mainstream play. Completion guarantees are a huge thing in filmmaking abroad, and Agile is as good as a completion guarantee. A completion guarantee, you have backings of cash and everything, but Agile is as good a completion guarantee as any funding that you want to use to back up your guarantee. So I don't know what, I was talking purely from a point of view of a guy who just got into Agile, whose first love actually is filmmaking. So again, my very good friend, Aneka.
Maybe you want to expand.
We'll expand.
Yes, yeah. Let's hear from Aneka.
Thank you, Uncle Fred. To add to this, like in any industry, for instance, if you're introducing a change management, there's always a kickback, right? So the same thing applies to movie production, because you want to from a linear way, the way they are used to. This is the way we do things, and now you're bringing something new. You want them to actually try something new, and like, okay, start doing it this way. There's always a kickback. There's always a kickback. So balancing flexibility and structure is one of those challenges, those obstacles. How do you balance flexibility? How do you balance the structure? How do people collaborate? How would they embrace? How would they welcome the change, what you're introducing? How would they accept it? So these are all of the challenges that we face. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anyeka. Yeah, you got it completely right. It doesn't matter what industry, if you bring change, you always will find barriers. You will always face difficulty to introduce it. You
always be obstacles.
Yes, there will be. It's natural to human beings. So a cultural shift will always cause that resistance. Anyway, but Agile will eventually get there. So if I may ask, what do you think, how can Agile principles be applied in different phases of production of a movie, from the script, which is the pre-production, right, till the post-production, which involves the distribution, marketing, and so on. So how do you think Agile can be applied on each one of those phases? Maybe Mr. Fred can start.
Well, I have talked a little bit already about Agile in the script writing stage.
Yes, involving the feedbacks from
in the sense that the usual expectation is that some quote unquote, some genius, some spirited, some inspired young talent or old talent has put a script together or adapted something from a book. But in the use of Agile, Agile will like the iterative system of increments, and that also has huge advantages. It might not work so well in the area of maybe telling a story, but even with telling a story in a collaborative way, from, let's say, minimum viable position, you can build on the stories. I have been, it's an example that we actually use in Nollywood. Nollywood, from the inception, we used to have a lot of what we call script conferences. And in the script conferences, we try to get ideas from various knowledgeable people about scripting, storytelling, and all that, and filmmaking. So with the system as it is, even till now, there is some form of the framework of Agile in planning the script. But the difference is that it is now commissioned or allocated or given to one person or two people to go and write out, and then they come and, but the Agile system will suggest that at every point where they write, say writes in 1, you send it in, you write in 30, you send it in. So that will be how it will work, and whatever resistance that can come will be seen. And that's how best to apply it. But in other things, like maybe a documentary film, it will work perfectly. In fact, as it is right now, my company with LEARNTOR, we are thinking of doing something major in Nollywood using the Agile framework to make a documentary on Nollywood. And I think that is something we are projecting, something we are pursuing. It goes to tell you how much I believe in using the Agile methodology, the Agile framework in Nollywood. Pre-production, each each level will come up with different challenges. Pre-production, production. Well, I think with pre-production using Agile and the adaptive system, we will now have to plan schedules in such a way that everybody is around. But let me let
Anyeka
say a little more about the other parts, pre-production, production, post-production, and the rest.
To add to what Uncle Fred has said, because this is his area of specialty, he is the king of the industry. Just adds to it in the production, post-production, and distribution. Agile principle will extend into marketing. So for me to throw more light on the marketing, let's say for instance, we are streaming the movie online. We have a platform that, okay, for instance, you pay to view. So Agile can actually, instead of we using the conventional, because security will also come into play. Security will, how do I protect my data if I'm to pay to watch online? How do I protect my credit card information? So for those for information not to be stolen online, we can actually bring in what we call the cryptocurrency. Okay, this is the new generation. What do they do? How do we come up with a faster way of paying to view? At the same time, if it is reliable, we can actually introduce cryptocurrency. What do you need in cryptocurrency? All you need is your address, just the address. So this is one of the ways that, okay, we can actually bring in marketing and distribution. So Agile goes a long way. There are different things we can do with Agile. Thank you.
Thanks, Enrica. Before I move to my next question, I would like to read a comment by Patrick Taimo. I hope I pronounce it correct. Patrick says that just in time found during production will be another benefit of Agile methodology in the film industry. Experimentation with the plots within the film to see if they are worth it. Very, 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 very correct. The Agile mindset also eliminates the fear of failure, which gives way to creative thinking and experimentation. Yes, Agile is about experimentation. So yes, Mr. Fred mentioned that when we started talking about the benefits of or how Agile framework can be applied on different parts of the filmmaking. It was like for the script writing by a creative superstar writer that took it from his mind or adapting from a book, and then bringing it. Agile says that, okay, let's adapt it. Let's check. They got the feedback from the rest of the team and find out if yes, there's something that can be improved and something that can be changed. Exactly, is similar to what Patrick is saying, that he said that it gives the freedom to the creative thinking and the experimentation. We try this way, it doesn't work, we go back and we adapt and we do it again without fear of failure. That takes me to my next question, which is like, what do you see? We are talking about creativity, right? So how do you see the Agile filmmaking impacting their creativity and their innovation on the industry? More elaborating on this still creativity and the agility together. How do you see the effect of agility on the creativity? Anyeka, maybe you can start just for a change.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so I was asking that, how do you see that agile way of making film can impact their creativity and innovation in the filmmaking industry?
Okay, one of the way, for me, I would say, Agile will allow for greater creativity, certain, and innovation. Agile will actually empower the filmmakers to experiment new ideas, just as you said. You actually empowers them to try new things. Okay, we are trying in this sprint, for instance, let's say we are using a sprint. In sprint 1, we tried this. After the end of the sprint, at the end of this sprint retrospective, during the sprint, we actually, what worked? What are the tools did we use? Did the tools work? The people, the processes, then we actually look back, what is it for us to improve on? What should we let go, or what should we start doing? So Agile actually brings in all of that into effect in film production. Thank you.
Mr. Fred, we are having issue with your audio again. Can you talk now? But no, still we can't hear you.
While he's trying to get on, I mean, one of the areas you're beginning to see creativity in that industry is the use of AI in enhancing scripts. And although there's a conflict over, is it taking roles away from script writers? But it's all part of the experimentation process. You throw the idea into ChatGPT or something, and it spits out a plot for you.
And the continuous improvement, right? So you want to do it better. You want to show quality. So
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Okay, thank God. Well, I was just going to conclude that to that question, the comments that was sent in had answered that question. It gives you room for experimentation and creativity without the fear of failure. And you know, the fear of failure is a major thing to creatives.
Yes.
And so they always go back to say, have we done it right? And yeah, that captures it all. That captures it.
Definitely. What about the feedback from the audience? What are the benefits to see them?
For me, the feedback from the audience is a very sensitive and delicate area. Now, if you are talking film, how much of the audience, how much of feedback from the audience do you want to get? If you are going the iterative way, you have, let's assume the audience has been coming with you. Who's the audience coming with you from beginning of pre-production till the film is ready? And then the film goes to marketing. You know, one of the biggest things of exploitation in movies is the premiere of the film. Now, if there are already reports on the film, how by the audience that has seen the film, where is that premiere? Where is the box office weekend? So that is why I say with things like documentary, documentary film, it will work by far better. But so in the final product reaching the audience, I still have not been able to wrap that around my head, how Agile improves on that. Remember, the filmmaking process in itself is very researched and practiced. So, but where it does work, which is what I am actually planning to do, is in the area of making documentaries using the Agile framework and with the assurance of completion. How do you say it in Agile? Done. My internet.
Definition of done.
The definition of done, yes, definition of done. So that's my take on that.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not. There's a lot of feedback that I'm hearing. It's very distracting. I'm not even able to hear this.
Nimi.
There's like a static noise in the background that is really, really distracting.
Anieka, maybe you can mute yourself when you unmute when you're ready to speak. It's coming from your end. Fantastic.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Mercy. Anieka was about to answer a question, I think. Wait.
It's much better because I was trying to hear what Mr. Fred was saying, and it was very difficult because there was a lot of it was a static noise, and I don't know if anybody else can hear it, but it was very, very loud.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. Anieka, maybe you respond, then you mute back. We should be winding down this session because the next session, I think, that's going to be in Portuguese, right, Nadia?
No, the next section is actually not now.
It's not?
Because no, we have the French starting now in Zone 2, and then we will back here at
7 for the Portuguese session. Okay.
Yeah.
So which means you can continue with the conversation then with Uncle Fred.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
So Anieka was about to talk, right? So let
that feedback is still back again. Sorry, it's very.
So when he speaks, he can mute. Let's speak, Anieka.
Exactly.
Oh, you wanted me to say what I was saying then again? I can't remember what I was saying.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So the question was feedback. Now there is a positive feedback and there's a negative feedback, right? So for in the distribution, for the negative feedback, it will actually make you to improve on your quality, what you're actually offering your audience. So the benefit of collecting continuous feedback from audience during film making processes, because when you get the feedback from your audience, okay, the resolution did not go well, can we work on this, the sound, it will actually make you to, okay, do better, give quality.
Not only from your audience, from your crew.
I'm so sorry, Anieka. I'm not trying to be rude, but I really want to hear what you're saying. I don't know if you have like a phone around your audio. That could be it, but it's causing a lot of feedback. It's like it's really, really loud.
Yeah. Wow.
Every time he goes on mute, so I don't know if he has. If
you have a headphone, Anieka, to use.
Yeah.
If you have an headphone, maybe it will help. Uncle Fred, you want to repeat your response? People didn't hear.
Okay, maybe they should ask me the question again.
So I was asking you what you think about the feedback from the audience. And I remember you said that, hold on here, because sometimes the audience can come and then you don't have a plot post again. So something in the line with that.
I think what I was talking about was, was it the feedback, the challenges of using Agile framework in, for instance, the final product of the film. And I was talking about areas of the film that needed a little bit of suspense, like the premiere or the box office weekend, the opening of the, which is like the opening of the film. These are traditional practices, and that have been monetized over the years. So your opening weekend usually tells you how good the film is going to be. And if we're going to have a situation where the audience already knew what the film was, which is what into a certain level the Agile framework will suggest. But if, because of the adaptability of Agile, we can redefine who the audience is, and it does not have to be everybody. And so that might still work using increment, knowing exactly what, so we get 10% of or 5% to represent who the audience will be, and there are various mindsets or inputs, and they can form the bulk of what we want to give to the audience, which is something that's already done to an extent. I know there are pre-release screenings, there are special screenings for film, sometimes something like a media screening or a special screening for people who will scrutinize. I remember I was doing a film once, and we were in Hollywood. So we had done this film, it's a Nigerian film, but we wanted to ensure that we could, in fact, when I come to think of that film, we actually shot the film in increments. So we started the film in Makurdi, and we ended in Los Angeles, shooting and adding little increments and changing. So that is a very good example. I'm sorry, it just hit me. Okay, so in that we shot it in increments, and that is possible. And as the audience added and said, we started, for instance, with an actor that a lot of people might know because he was in a very big film. He was in the film The Titanic. That's the bad guy in the Titanic. What's his name again? Oh, I keep getting this blank. It's a Z name. Okay, so he was in the film. Billy Zane. Yeah, is it Billy Zane? Yeah. Billy Zane was in the film originally, but by the time
Billy Zane, yeah, thank you very much. Billy Zane.
By the time we finished and we had an indoor screening, we were told that Billy Zane is no longer a list, and that we needed an A-list actor. And that scene was reshot with Mickey Rourke. Another, at this point in time, a big actor. He had just finished, he had just been nominated for a film called The Wrestler or something like that. And so he was really big at that time. And we could, it was to me an increment. And it gave a little more assurance, because from the audience feedback, we were able to change a few things and added a couple more African names like Akon and Wyclef to the film. It's a film called Black November. It's still out there. So it is possible. It is a paradigm. It's not such a major paradigm shift when I come to think of it now, because even with Black November is a very good example of somebody who is using the Agile framework without really understanding that. And I wish we understood more the Agile framework then we could have had sprints and retrospectives, and it would have come out, I'm sure, a lot better. So from that, we can conclude that yes, even in areas where we think that Agile might be affecting creativity, it is actually enhancing creativity. So that would be my take on that.
That's great. So in terms of technology, what are the tools and software that are out there that can be used to support the Agile approach on the filmmaking?
Okay, I will need a real Agile mindset to answer that question. This is why we wanted Emmanuel Iboke in this panel, because in that area, well, there are some things that were sent to me that I could look up. What are the tools? Wow. What are the tools? Anyeka, are you still there? Okay.
Emmanuel is here.
Yes. Ah! Yes. Emmanuel, you see, I've reported you to
the right time to answer the right question.
Good evening, everybody. I do apologize for joining late. I had other engagements to deal with. Right, I did overhear the question anyway. There are quite a lot of tools that can be used within the Agile space. I'll start with the basics. Something like Jira, for instance, is a tool that can be used to capture the tasks to be developed within that space during the sprints. You can break down the tasks into scenes or tasks that need to be completed, and then begin to develop that into storyboards. And there's quite a lot of other tools you can use, even basic tools like PowerPoint, for instance, and be used to do storyboards. And also storyboards that can be used for storyboard within the filmmaking space. And I could give you
Emmanuel. Sorry,
Emmanuel's voice is fading away.
Yes. Your voice is going low and lower. Hello? Are you still there, Emmanuel?
Oh, Emmanuel is my mentor.
We cannot hear you, Emmanuel.
Can't hear Emmanuel again, though.
And I think he's still talking.
Yeah, he's talking. We can't hear you clearly.
Emmanuel, we cannot hear you.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Now you are muted.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can.
Right. So I'm not sure what you heard or what you didn't hear, but I was just talking about.
Very far back.
We only heard Jira.
You only heard Jira?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I do apologize.
It's okay.
Now, I was just saying there are quite a lot of various tools that can be used. It just depends on what it is you want to do. You can use Jira for breaking down stories into tasks, for instance, and user stories. There are also other types of tools that can be used, such as, I'll give you an example. There's actually one that I was looking at earlier. There are some, give me 1 second. So there are some called Vintage. Vintage, you can use to actually design
the storyboard. I'm not sure if people know what storyboards actually are. Just so I'm not.
Yes, we didn't even talk about storyboarding.
So storyboards are basically an animation of the story you're looking to tell within filmmaking. So somebody can just do a depiction of like what we call the stick man. We've all done this kind of drawings in primary school where you draw a circle, then you draw a stick, and you just use it to represent activities or actions in particular areas within the filmmaking process. I'm not sure. Can you still hear me, people?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Right. So it depends on the activity, but there are quite a few. I've talked about vintage. I've talked about even PowerPoints, for instance, can be used to draw some of these stories and just create animation of scenes or elements of the movie that you want to shoot. As far as we're concerned, the possibilities are endless. I overheard Uncle Fred talking earlier about the fact that there are limitations in using Agile. One, you don't want to expose the movie before it actually premieres or is released, but there can be a control for that. You limit the audience of the people working on it, and also limit the audience of the people you use to test some of the reaction that you're aiming to get from.
Emmanuel still here?
Somebody took him
We
off.
lost. We lost Emmanuel.
Emmanuel disappeared and Patrick Taiwo appeared on my screen. Patrick Taiwo killed him.
It's okay. It's okay. I think we had a feeling of tools.
But where he was going to, I already have touched on. And he was talking about controlling the audiences and ensuring that who are the audience who give you feedback. I'd already talked a little bit about that.
Yes.
And
yeah.
But that answers the question on tools. And yes, I didn't talk about storyboard at all. Storyboarding, yes, which is a major, it's not a major thing in Nollywood. But it is something that Nollywood is evolving towards, and right now it's a little different from what it used to be. Now there are shooting plans and everything that are on ground, but I think storyboards will soon start to join that. But so far so good. Konibaje. So far so good. Yeah. It's all good.
Is Emmanuel back here?
Apologies, my internet kicked me out. So in rounding off, like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to project. There are different tools out there that can be used, but when you limit it to Agile per se, we have Jira, we have Confluence, where you can use for repository. You have tools that you can use to draw, animation or create animation, or create storyboards such as PowerPoint. I'm just mentioning the basic ones, just which everybody knows. Within the film industry, there's a very specific ones like Vintage, for instance, which is used to create storyboards as well. So it just depends on what you're trying to achieve, and then the complexity within which you want to go. So I don't know if that helps, but I just didn't want to interject while Uncle
does.
Yes.
It does help. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will shoot my last question, and I will appreciate, Manuel, if you start to be you be the first to answer. So, what does the future hold for Agile adaptation on the film industry, and how it might continue to evolve? So if you can start, and then Mr. Fred take over, because unfortunately Anyeka will not be able to answer due to technical issues. Thank you. So what does the future hold for the movie industry when regards to agility?
Well,
hello, Emmanuel.
I didn't get the question.
So the question is, what does, in your opinion, what does the future hold for agile adaptation on the film industry? What do you think is out there for the film industry when it regards to agility?
Oh, in terms of agility and the film industry.
Thank you.
The future hope is very bright as far as I'm concerned. One, we will be breaking ground should we decide to start incorporating some of the process that Agile specifies in its use. For instance, we can begin to use Agile to limit waste in terms of resources, time. You can cut between scenes, for instance, where I've seen movies where that are supposed to be maybe a one-part movie, and they make it into like 5, 6 series. If you use Agile, you're able to create a storyboard quickly. You will know exactly what scenes needs to be deleted straight away, and you will know scenes that needs to be worked into the movie if it doesn't exist currently. The beauty of Agile is that you are able to constantly review the product before it comes out, especially with the key stakeholders, just so they're able to tell you if what you're presenting to them is what they want to see. You can also test out the reception from the audience way before the movie premieres. In terms of also using Agile, I believe it will also be a game changer, because I stand to be corrected, but I don't think even Nollywood, that is the biggest platform in Africa, has done any movie using Agile. So it could be something of a game changer if we decide to go that route, because not only will you be able to bring in professionals that can look into what is currently happening and tell them, or basically help channel resources into better usage, you can also cut down a lot of costs that movie currently costs in the production phases. You can also decide or determine the quality of the movies that will be coming out going forward. So I think the potential for that is very huge.
Great. Good to hear. Thank you, Emmanuel. Mr. Fred.
Okay, I'll just, because he has captured it all, but I'll just take it a little bit from the point of view of why films are made in the first place and who is the greatest beneficiary of films being made, which would be those who actually pay for films to get made, television houses, studios, what else? Internet, social internet networks like Netflix and Hulu and the rest. Now, what these people want most is a guarantee of delivery. And Agile's framework's capability to guarantee the definition of done is very high. And this is something that once it is, and then Agile is also adaptive. So it is something that once it kicks in, can really take off. I know, even as we speak, the new ones that are coming up, I know Netflix, Hulu, Prime Videos, people like that will be excited to know that. And there's television. You see, television, there are different markets. There's a television market. There's the online market. and there's the cinema market, and they all respond differently. And this market I'm talking about now, the online market, will be too excited to have products that the delivery is guaranteed, that they are constantly aware of. What's the word? There's a communication. They are constantly communicating and adaptive, and
the waste is eliminated, so, as Emmanuel pointed.
As the waste is eliminated. So yeah, that is like I said, Emmanuel had captured it all. I just wanted to happen that little bit and say yes, it will be a great turnaround, especially in Hollywood that does a lot of productions for this kind of people.
Just to add to what Uncle Fred has said, they're quite. We do have examples of movies out there that most people might be aware of that actually implemented Agile principles. For instance, Mad Max. There's a movie called Mad Max or the Blair Witch Project. These movies have been known to adopt Agile principles, whereby they're able to improvise or basically cut irrelevancies from movies and thereby lowering costs of the production. There are quite a lot of things that Agile brings into play. And a major concept of lean, which is about waste management, comes to mind here. Because one of the things Uncle Fred was talking about earlier, people that sponsor projects, they want to see results. And when they're spending huge money, amounts of money, they what the last thing they want is for the money to be wasted. So that if you can guarantee, products whereby they can see the production even before the movie comes to life, and they're able to see what they're getting and test audiences to that effect and see that it is a winner, then of course the likelihood that they're going to invest in more projects is high.
Yeah, precisely. Even though we talked about Mad Max before you came on. Yeah, we talked about Mad Max.
Exactly. Thank you, gentlemen. And that was my last question for today. I will open space for 2 questions from the audience. So if you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask, or you can just write it down in the chat. The 2 first ones are going to be answered, and then we will finish this excellent talk. It has been very interesting. We could be here for another hour, but unfortunately, we need to get ready for another session, so we will have to finish it. So let's go. Questions, comments, are also welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nimi. I am a release train engineer consulting at Deloitte. And my question goes to, I love that we talked about just the film industry, which is sometimes, we think about Agile, for most people, you think about it related to software development or products for the most part. Can you talk a little bit about how, we have a lot of generative AI and AI just in general coming into the picture. Can you talk about how you're utilizing AI and also Agile in the film industry, the combination of the two, and what are some of the pros versus the cons of utilizing AI and the combination of Agile in the film industry?
Nimi, okay, so I guess the question is for.
Yeah, I'll take the question. That's fine. Thanks for that question. One thing that we have seen a lot of it happening in Nollywood especially is the introduction of technology in movie making. I remember back in the day when movies, people, for instance, I'll give you an example. They want to act a ghost scene, and you will see somebody come and there's a cut, and next thing they try to fade it out, and it wasn't actually as best as it could be done. But of late, we've seen instances where people can actually fade out or disappear Some of these have been due to artificial intelligence and machine learning, because quite a lot of movies, I can't remember particular examples now, but if you've seen the earlier movies and you see the movies that are being made now, you can appreciate some of the progression that has been done over time. Now to the next question that you asked about, you know, how well we're able to adapt all of this into movie making, especially within, and I speak within the environment that we are in. Over here in the UK, there's a whole raft of movies being done, and of course, artificial intelligence, you know, plays a key role. You can basically write a script, instruct some AI tool, just with a click of a button, it will run you a full sequence or a script, even with storyboards and everything in one hit. You don't even have to do much work. I have used some AI tools where I can write anything I want. I can write, you know, content for social media without lifting a finger, just with one hit. And I believe that is already happening in Nollywood. So it just depends on how much investment comes in and how much people know about this technology and the ability to use it to achieve what it is we want to achieve. So for me, I think the industry is growing, and many more people are welcome to explore, to invest, to partner, if you like, with game changers like Uncle Fred here present.
Okay, for me, I will answer that question, Nimi's question, with a little bit of history of filmmaking in the world. Now, if you remember, it started from silent movies, and then it started from silent movies, then it came to talkies. Actually, sorry, it started from stage, from theatrical productions. And so when film was coming in, they said that film will kill theater. But film and theater continue to live side by side. And then television was coming in, and they said television will kill film. But very soon they became side by side. There was film and there was television. And then they said social media was coming in, and social media was going to kill television. But everything has taken their side. And now they are saying AI is coming in and is going to kill our traditional ways of making film. And I say, like all the others before it, it will take its place. Nollywood will embrace AI, but all the other aspects of this film experience or the audiovisual experience will still be in play. And that is my take on it.
Thank you. Great, great, great. Great answers. So do we have more questions?
Thank you. Thank
you. Nothing on the chat. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so it has been a great, great session. Very interesting, but we have to move. So just to extend my appreciation to the speakers. Is somebody talking? Is there a question? I could hear something on the back. No. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Fred, Amata, Anyekan, Emmanuel. It has been a pleasure. I really hope people get out of here enlightened knowing that it's possible. We during these 2 days, we keep talking about agility in other sectors that's not IT. So this is a very, very, very interesting, a very specific, let's call it case study that was today brainstormed here. So definitely very good, very good. Thank you, and I really hope to we can have another opportunity to have this type of discussion, and so that we can start to bring the change in mindset that is needed. To all the attendees also, thank you for being here with us for this more than 1 hour. You guys can connect to, can connect. I think Emmanuel someone sent LinkedIn here in the chat. This is also a platform to connect to people in the sector. So feel free to connect to each other and to reach out to us. The organization of the events, Mercy is the mama of this. I believe everybody here somehow knows Mercy. So you can always refer to Mercy if you want to reach out.
Did you call me?
No. Just saying that you are like a, I don't know the
mother hen.
Yes.
And great job for stepping in to moderate, Nadia. That was agility in practice. So thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Patrick. Yes. Now I need to get into another session. The one that I'm supposed to actually moderate is in Portuguese, where I'm more comfortable. Anyway, I think I survived. So thank you, everyone, and have a great evening. Our next talk, we have in one right now in the other Zoom is in French, and we will have another one in Portuguese, and we will be closing around 8 p.m. So you guys are welcome to join us. Hopefully my other colleagues will be available. Mercy will be able to show her face, Abigail also, and then we can, so that you guys can see the team that put this together. Thank you. Have a great evening, and I'll see you. Mercy, I don't know if you want to say something. If you want.
No.
Mercy is really under the weather. Okay.
Uncle Fred, thank you so much. Manuel, Anyekan, this is streamed everywhere, and we're hoping to continue to have this conversation to understand that Agile can be adopted in every sector. So yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Nadia, well done.
Okay.